Black Americans have made some great contributions to fashion, right? Like, we are some fashionable folks. We know how to take our cultures and things and make those things spectacular to where they're beneficial and to where we're leaving trends in the greater culture in the United States. Because we are very, very much so those people. It's occurred to me that there are amongst us FBAs right now who didn't live the 2008 recession, don't know what a real recession is. And since they're hearing the talk, all they know is the talk. They don't see the repercussions of the talk. So picture this in New York recently. Word got out that Versace, and I'm not knocking Versace. If you're a fan, for the record, style is a great thing to have. I'm not knocking anyone. If you can afford luxury and you've worked hard for it, don't let anybody make you feel bad. Okay. So, New York City, believe it is. Word gets out that there's going to be an 80% sale on Versace. 10,000 people show up. Trust when I say it was probably not all FBAs, but the photos portrayed that, again, portrayal and propaganda are important aspects of life. Y'all got to catch on and connect these dots. Okay. Next thing you know, people are breaking windows, getting in, people getting an attitude because they think somebody cut them off in line. Young woman gets trampled and sent to the hospital. Just another day of people who want a sale and they don't care who gets hurt in the progress. Only for everybody to walk away empty-handed. I mean, was that 80% worth it in New York City, where you all can barely afford to put food on your tables because the rent is high? You're getting hungry headaches because you're having to skip meals. But some of y'all same people who probably complained were going out for an 80% off sale for a materialistic something that's just going to sit in your house and add no value to you. The second you walk out of the store with it, it's invaluable because all you can do is either sell it at a bargain price or give it to a Goodwill. See, I'm not going to take this conversation because I'm done with the berating and chastising. I'm not going to take this conversation in the direction that it should go. But with all those young people out there, something occurred to me. Okay. We have a whole new generation, namely Gen Alpha, coming up, and whoever's coming behind Gen Alpha, because any baby born after 2013, I think that's the end of Gen Z, and the Gen Alphas are behind them, and they're like between 10 to 11 years old. So I sincerely hope when they get old enough, like 18, so they'll be 11 now, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 7 years from now when they can watch this, because I don't want minors watching my stuff. Okay. Preferably not. That's YouTube's guidelines, and I think that's a good thing because we talk about this. See, when the last recession happened in 2008, millennials woke up. And see, this is when you saw a lot of millennials in thrift stores, and we had no shame of buying that old stuff and doing this called redeemed movement, now upcycling. Because that was going to be way cheaper than going to a store and buying furniture. Not that we still didn't, but yes. See, the reason stuff like this can happen, and one of the main reasons I want to touch on, is because people have no sense of what's coming. See, when you don't see something disastrous, see, what your mind deceives you because you think the eyes and what you're seeing today is going to be reflective. You would think that the high cost in rent, the high cost in food, for the transportation for food, the high cost of fuel would wake people up. But right now, if you're between 10 and 11 years old, you'll watch this video one day and you'll get the understanding, the concept between fat and lean, because all you've known is fat. Because from the time the Gen Alpha were born, you haven't known struggle the way the rest of us had. The millennials, 2008, I had to learn the hard way. Because I'm 28 years old at the time, and buying a house was out of the question at that time. Wasn't till I was 34 that we got this house we're in now, and I'm 44. September we will have lived here. This is my first house, 10 years, overlooking the water down the road from an undersea naval museum. These things are becoming more and more out of reach for you all now. See, the reason you can go to these sales, you can go out here, be selfish, and don't get me wrong, it was older people out there, and I'll address that in a minute, is because you don't understand the concept of lean, the concept of cutting back. Oh, but it's coming. And that reality is going to hit like a ton of bricks, because you'll be about 15, 16 years old, probably by the time this lets up. If you're blessed, maybe 14 years old, but then by then you will be old enough to know that the purse is sitting in your closet, the shoes that are sitting there, that you bought while your cupboards are barely full, while your fridge is so empty you could go in there right now with bleach and clean it. And know what's in there. Know all the contents. See, the thing is, we sit here and we're chasing the material when we know we can't afford it. And for the record, I know a lot of YouTubers got a great sense of style, but these guys that I know that I'm subscribed to, that I'm not going to say names, know how to budget their money and know their limits and know when to stop. As a collective, we better know when to stop. Because there's been some amongst us on YouTube that has admitted that it's hard knocks. Don't want a roommate, but gotta get one. And I can imagine if you're a single parent having to decide if you're one of those good single parents to feed your kids and starve and pretend like you're not starving, or pretend like it doesn't hurt you to eat 1 to 2 meals a day so that your kids can eat. Because even if you're not there now, we're edging in that direction. And it's really heartbreaking for a person like me, come from poverty, to still see people struggling with gas prices and deciding, do I need to fill up my car to go to work, or do I need to eat today? When particularly those people don't have the option to telework, the luxury of telework. See, this was never about going after Versace. My thing is, are we so comfortable with luxury that we're willing to starve, that we're willing to be out in the streets, that we're willing to not get to work? Why are we as a collective still very, very much still a slavery to outer appearance? Why are we obsessed? Well, not myself. I'm just talking in the collective sense. Why are we obsessed with labels? Because when you're starving, when you can't fill your gas, when your kids don't have food, when you can't turn on your lights, when you can't keep your water on, and when you can't get to work, it's all meaningless at the end of the day.